Hey everybody, this is Sam with West Virginia Overtime, and I wanted to come to you guys on this episode because I guess I'm on the fence, and I don't know which way to lean, and it's getting kind of confusing to me because some people are wanting answers that I don't know that most people have, and I definitely don't have. Because, see, I have told you guys before, I am a coach. And West Virginia, most counties have decided to start their 3-week summer practice period during the dates of July 6th through July 25th if the schools are back open. And I've said all along that I don't know how I feel about that. Is that too soon? I know we were supposed to have them in June, starting on June 8th, and I definitely felt like that was too soon, especially with today being May 21st. I can't imagine in 2.5 weeks me bringing middle schoolers into a basketball gym. I don't feel like right now I would be sure of myself that I could protect them. But am I going to feel any more sure come July 6th? I don't know. But here's where I'm on the fence. I want my sports back. I miss them. I miss them on TV. I miss reading about sports. I miss writing about sports. I miss doing podcasts about sports. And I miss coaching sports. But here's the thing. When I look, the Major League Baseball hasn't made a decision on what they're going to do. They are thinking now, with so many states opening up, of having an 82-game schedule with no fans. Then, the NFL today said it's taking a phased-in approach. NFL teams were allowed to go back in this week to their facilities. And Dr. Alan Seals said in an article by Judy Bastia, who's an NFL.com reporter, that he believes in walking, then jogging, then running, and that they have to take it step by step and kind of reevaluate it. And like he said, the NFL is allowing facilities to open this week only if they're in accordance with local rules and only for a limited number of staff. The coaches, of course, are able to get back in and get to work. And then I hear about the NBA, and they haven't made a decision. It's still on the table for them to go to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and be quarantined or isolated in a couple of Disney World hotels and then play games at the ESPN Wild World of Sports complex that is on Walt Disney World's property and televise those games with no fans. So I hear 3 professional leagues where they're getting paid to perform, to play, and they don't know what they're doing yet. They're not 100% sure when they're going to start. They're not sure whether they're going to start in isolation. They're not sure whether they're going to start in just certain cities or they're going to travel all over the United States. But one thing all 3 of them seem to be in an agreement with is no fans. But then you step down to colleges, and I hear today the NCAA is allowing voluntary workouts beginning June 1st. And that there are a lot of conferences in the NCAA that are saying, we're playing football no matter what. Now, I've heard some conferences say that, yes, it may be postponed a couple weeks, but they would just play a shortened season and then, of course, the playoffs. I've heard other schools, mostly Power 5 conferences, saying, no, we are starting when we're supposed to start. We're going to have our first game when our first game is scheduled to play, and that's how it is. I also read an article about NCAA football games that a lot of them will be being played on neutral sites, because we all know that there is usually the kickoff game in Dallas Cowboys Stadium with Jerry Jones that kind of kicks off the football season between 2 top teams. What are they going to do with that stadium with no fans? And then I read today that Ohio State said their stadium fills 105,000, and they're talking about going at a third and having only 20 to 30,000 people in that stadium so that they can social distance. But when asked by a reporter, how are you going to choose those 20 or 30,000 people, they didn't know. And they weren't sure how they were going to space seats out and where they were going to put them and things like that. So when I think about it, college has made up its mind that they're going to move on because of TV contracts, of football being basically the big powerhouse that runs the rest of the sport programs. And if football season gets canceled, then there's a lot of other sports that are getting canceled too, because they're just not going to have the money. And there's a lot of schools that are doing away with programs, baseball programs or lacrosse programs, because they know they're not going to have the money to support those programs. I saw an article today where, and it's up on West Virginia Overtime, where the NFL is looking at redoing helmets and having clear shields put on all of the helmets and like a mesh type mask to protect the NFL football players. So I guess that's why I'm on the fence. Yes, I want my sports back. And I'm so happy to hear that the NFL is talking about playing. You know, baseball's talking about playing. The NBA is talking about playing. But then I hear how much colleges are talking about rushing it. How they're, going to have voluntary workouts starting on June 1st. And how a lot of conferences are saying no matter what, we're playing our football games. And I wonder which outlook is going to trickle down to our high schools and middle schools. Because like I said, I know that they've put the caveat in there that it's going to be based on whether, schools are going to be open and everything. But West Virginia, most counties have chosen that they're going to have their 3-week summer practice period, July 6th through July 25th. Should we have a 3-week summer practice period if the NFL's not sure that they're going to play? Should we have a 3-week summer practice period starting July 6th if Major League Baseball is just starting then? And we have no knowledge of how many people get affected by playing baseball, where there are a lot more social distanced than football or basketball. The NBA is talking about going through a shortened training camp and then starting to play. So if the NBA is just starting back or haven't started back, should West Virginia be having a 3-week summer practice period in July? I guess that's what's scary to me. Are we rushing it? Should we not let the professionals, the adults, the ones that are getting paid for this, kind of try it out and be the guinea pigs and see how they handle it, what precautionary measures they take, and how, they work out the logistics of that before our high school and middle school kids get involved. And you're talking West Virginia football is supposed to start the first week of August for their season. And I understand some decisions have got to be made because people have got to start making plans. But are we rushing it? And I think that is, where I don't know where I stand. I want to see our team. I want to get them back in the gym. I miss them. I miss talking to them. I miss being around them. But I don't miss them enough to risk their health. And I think that's where my issue comes in. The thought of July 6th walking into a gym wearing a mask, and some kids possibly wearing a mask, going through basketball practice, beating and banging on each other, working on different drills, sweating. Think about it, post-play, how close you are. Rebounding, they're knocking into each other. Somebody throwing in an elbow and, sweat or spit going. I think that's an awful lot of risk that you're asking 11, 12, 13-year-olds to take. So, in one way, in 1 minute, I'm leaning towards, I don't know that they need to be in there. And then, of course, like I said, 5 minutes later, I'm like, I miss them, and I want to coach basketball, and I want basketball back on my TV, and all of that. So I guess I'm just really frustrated, confused, wishing we had answers. And we don't, and I have no clue when we're going to get them. I mean, I guess someone is going to have to take the first step, go back to practice, go back to games, and see if anyone gets infected And if so, how many on that team, how many on that staff, how many coaches, how many, parents do they take it home to? I don't know. You guys need to let me know what your thoughts and feelings on this are. You guys can always tweet me or hit me up on Facebook page, West Virginia Overtime. You guys can write me at westvirginiaovertime@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. And I mean about everything. Do we want NBA, baseball, and football starting up in June and starting to play games in July, and NFL football and NCAA football starting on time? But also, do you want your high school and middle school kids practicing starting July 6th? And are they two different answers? Or are they the same answer? Let me know where you stand on this, because I'm looking for some guidance. So, just a real short, quick episode, kind of just wanting to get some clarification, some guidance, some information, anything you guys can tell me. But I'm going to leave it here, and I will talk to you soon.